All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the video here today. Today, it was kind of a rough morning. My heating in my house stopped working, and I spent most of the morning trying to get that to work on my own before I had to call somebody. I had to throw in the towel. They'll be out sometime tomorrow. So that's frustrating, but ended up missing most of the morning trading, but did find a nice one in the afternoon. So let's get to it. Let's trade.
Go!
All right, so the first and only trade of the day was here on BYSI, and you can see it starting to alert down in the scanner right below me. It's got about 2.6 million traded on the day. It's up only 3%, but it did make a big down move all the way down into the 1260s, and you can see it popping off the bottom there around the 1260s, making a pretty big move to the upside. It's within the range, so I don't generally like these as much, but it's starting to come up into the VWAP, which is already a big move off the bottom. It's about a point move and a $13 stock off the bottom just into the VWAP here. So I'm watching it. It's up through the 1360s, and I'm looking at the chart. If you saw me scroll back a second in there, trying to get an idea of where this thing could go if it wants to continue, and it's looking around like that 15-ish area might be that spot based on the daily chart. So I'm watching it here as it's through the VWAP through 1350, and it's starting to kind of hang around here around this 1370, 1380 area a little bit. So I'm starting to think, okay, maybe this is the time that the turnaround is going to be. So I see the bid get through, or the ask get through there, but the bid goes down. So I go ahead and put a limit order out there at 1380. I do take 300 shares on this one because this is one of those that we talked about in one of the recent videos that is a little bit lower price stock that I can have plenty of buying power to get a little bit more aggressive with and not have the overall big fear of having it rip my face off against me. So I decided to get a little bit more aggressive on this one. It's still only a 300 share starter, but in there at 1380. And then I'm looking at the chart and I'm like, all right, I'm going to need at least through 1410 on an ad if I'm going to add into this one. So you can see me load that ad up with the limit there in the order box right below the level 2. So it's starting to pop here through 14. I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good pop through 14. Gets up into the 1420s there. I see 1426 hit on the ass. 1427's got some big sellers there. You can see 26 hitting there. So I go ahead and put another limit out here at 1426 for another 300 shares. And I end up getting a fill there as well. So now we have 600 shares short with an average of 1403. And now I'm starting to look for that potential next area for an ad. And this one would be a 600 share ad to get to a total of 1200 if I was going to get this next ad. I'm thinking I'm going to need at least through 1450, probably more of a push than that up towards the 15s. I'd love through 1460, 1470, up somewhere in there. And then the chart's looking real good, real extended, and it's got some big resistance up overhead that can protect me a little bit. So I'm watching it here. It's kind of getting stuck at 1450. It's not getting through. It's not getting through. So it's starting to look like it may fail to the downside. You can see the bid all of a sudden shoots down real fast there, down about 20-30 cents. All of a sudden bid shoots down under 14. And now, of course, you know what we're looking for. We're looking for all the shares under both entries. So I load up 500 of them at 1370. I put it out there and I get a fill real quick there at 1370 to have realized 142 just like that in about 3 minutes and down to 100 shares on the final position here in BYSI. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, this thing could actually get back down, right back down to 13 pretty easily. So I wanted to hold 100 there to see if I could get that move down forward further pretty quickly. As what it ends up doing is it kind of chills here for a second, never gets down below 1350 again, and then it goes right back up to the highs of the morning. I was actually thinking about restarting if it made a nice pop through 1450 there. It didn't. It hung on right there at 1450. So I was holding on to this extra 100 shares this whole time. And now I'm looking at it as it comes back down through 14. I'm like, all right, I'll just take another half off here as I've been pretty patient with it, especially for me. So I'll take another half off here if I start to see a spot where this thing is going to start getting a bounce here, which it started to look like right there at that VWAP. So I take another half off there down to 50 shares and looking for now under 1350 if we can get it. I load up 30 shares to take under 1350. I'm looking hoping to get that nice big flush through the $0.50 mark there. We get a little move. You can see just barely gets under 1350 there. Wasn't nearly as strong a move as I would have liked to see. You'd like to see those nice big flushes and those big fast flushes through the whole and the $0.50. So I'm watching it here. I'm like, all right, it could just be a slower one. It is late in the afternoon, later in the day, like 1:30, whatever time it is, 1:40 at the time. And I end up just taking those 30 shares there at what was it, 13, right at 1350. And I'm now trying to get the remaining 20 down under 1330. Really here, just trying to practice at holding shares longer and trying to get more profit out of the shares that I have gotten into the trade. So I'm hoping for 1330s. It kind of comes down here a few times, hits 1340, hits 1340, keeps holding on, and the ask isn't really coming down with it. The ask was hanging up close to 1350 or right on 1350 most of the time. So at this point, I'm just kind of watching it. I'm tired on the day, haven't slept much. I've been dealing with the freaking heater not working, ready to go build a fire in my fireplace. And here, coming up in just a second, it looks like it's gonna bounce off 1340, and I go ahead and I just cover out the remaining 20 shares here out of the 600 that we had to start this trade, and we're gonna close this trade out just up over $200 on the day. So pretty happy with this one. It went pretty according to plan. Would have liked a bit of a flush down further, but I certainly can't complain, and I will take it, especially since it was an afternoon trade after not getting any trades in all morning. So you can see it's starting to get that green move right there, and I go ahead and take the final shares. So happy with it, and going to finish the day right there, up $200 on the BYSI short. It actually ended up kind of hanging right there, and even now, as I just saw it a second ago, it started to curl back up into the high 13s. So happy with the trade overall. Hopefully you guys are happy with the video. If you are, make sure you hit like and subscribe. I'll see you later.